Welcome to the channel. If you've ever felt stuck, doubted yourself, or wondered why life keeps holding you back, you're in the right place. Here we dive deep into the truth about success, growth, and unstoppable momentum. You'll learn how to own your life, stop waiting for permission, and take full control of your destiny. You'll discover how to face your fears, confront what's been holding you back, and move forward with courage. We'll break the cycle of repeated mistakes with strategies to change your habits and rewrite your story. You'll learn to trust yourself, make decisions with confidence, and believe in your own power. You'll see why consistency beats motivation and why small daily actions create extraordinary results. And finally, we'll teach you how to rise above excuses, using every challenge as fuel to propel you toward the life you've always imagined. You know, one of the biggest mistakes we make in life is waiting for someone to tell us we're ready, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for permission. But here's the truth: no one is going to hand it to you. No one is going to open the door for you and say, "Go ahead, you've earned it." Life doesn't work like that. Life rewards the people who step up, who take responsibility, who don't wait for validation from the outside world. Your growth, your progress, your success, every bit of it is in your hands, and until you realize that, you're going to keep spinning your wheels, wondering why nothing is changing. You've got to own your life. That means taking responsibility for where you are today, even if it wasn't entirely your fault. Maybe the circumstances weren't ideal. Maybe people let you down. Maybe the world knocked you down a time or two. But here's the key: those things don't define you unless you let them. You can either be a victim of your circumstances, or you can be the architect of your own destiny. It's your choice. And the moment you stop blaming and start claiming what's yours, everything changes. Think about it. How many people spend their entire lives waiting for a sign, waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for someone else to say, "You can do it"? And all the while, opportunities pass them by. Doors close, moments slip through their fingers, and they're left wondering, why didn't it work out for me? The reason it didn't work out is because they waited. They handed their power to someone else instead of grabbing it for themselves. And you cannot afford to do that. Not one day, not 1 hour, not 1 minute. Owning your life also means setting your own standards and living by them. You cannot measure your worth by someone else's expectations. If you let the world define your path, you will always feel small, inadequate, and frustrated. But when you set your own goals, hold yourself accountable, and refuse to settle for less than what you're capable of, something magical happens. You begin to see doors where others see walls. You begin to create opportunities where others see obstacles. And suddenly, the life that once felt out of reach starts to feel within your grasp. I want you to hear me clearly. No one owes you anything. The world doesn't owe you a second chance, a handout, or an easy path. The universe is neutral. It doesn't care about your excuses, your timing, or your fear. What the world does respond to is action. What it rewards is courage. What it respects is someone who refuses to shrink in the face of challenge. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to tell you you're ready. Step up now, even if you're scared, even if you're unsure, even if the road ahead feels uncertain. That's exactly when you'll start growing. That's exactly when you'll start living. And let me remind you, claiming your life isn't about reckless action. It's not about charging in blindly. It's about deliberate steps, intentional moves, and a willingness to own every outcome, good or bad. When you take responsibility for your actions, when you stop pointing fingers and start taking control, you discover something powerful. You are capable of more than you ever imagined. You start trusting yourself. You start believing in your vision. You start creating momentum that no setback can stop. Too many people sell themselves short because they wait for someone else's approval. They think they need validation to take the first step, to chase the dream, to speak the truth. But validation is fleeting, unreliable, and external. If you build your life on someone else's approval, you will always feel empty, always feel small, always feel like you're living someone else's life. True power comes from within. True fulfillment comes when you claim your purpose, embrace your potential, and refuse to let anyone else write your story. So today, I want you to take a hard look at yourself. Stop waiting. Stop asking permission. Stop leaning on others to validate your dreams. Your growth is your responsibility. Your life is your responsibility. And your future is waiting for you to step up and own it. There will be fear, there will be uncertainty, there will be doubt. But there is also an incredible life on the other side of taking responsibility, on the other side of claiming what is rightfully yours. That's where greatness lives. That's where your potential becomes reality. That's where you stop holding yourself back and start truly living. And that's why right now you take it, you claim it, you own it. Fear, that little voice in the back of your mind that whispers, you can't do this, you're not ready, what if you fail? Let me tell you something, fear is not real. It's a story you've been telling yourself, a shadow that grows bigger the longer you ignore it. And here's the truth, fear is the only thing standing between you and your next level. Every single time you hesitate, every time you shrink back, fear is holding you hostage, but it doesn't have to. It only has power if you give it power. The moment you step toward it, confront it, and walk right through it, it loses its grip. Think about the moments in your life where fear showed up. Maybe it was starting that new job, speaking your truth, asking for what you deserve, or going after a dream that seemed impossible. And what did you do? Maybe you hesitated. Maybe you told yourself, I'll wait until the timing is right. Or maybe someone else should do this first. And while you were waiting, life moved on. Opportunities passed you by. Growth waited for no one. But here's the thing, fear is not your enemy. Fear is a compass pointing straight at what you need to do. If you feel it, it means you're on the right path. If you feel it, it means you're about to grow. Now listen to me carefully. Facing your fears doesn't mean you won't feel afraid. You will. You're human, but courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward in spite of it. Courage is saying, I see you, fear, and I'm not letting you stop me anymore. And once you do that, something incredible happens. You realize that fear is smaller than you thought. You realize that it doesn't have to control your actions. You realize that the only thing keeping you stuck was your own hesitation. Let's be honest, fear shows up in many forms. Sometimes it's doubt. Sometimes it's worry about what others think. Sometimes it's the paralysis of overthinking, convincing you that now isn't the right time. But here's the secret. Those things are illusions. They're distractions keeping you from taking action. You have to stare them down, call them out, and refuse to let them dictate your life. Because the second you do, you reclaim your power. The second you do, you take one step closer to the life you've been dreaming of. I want you to picture the fear you've been carrying. Maybe it's a fear of failure. Maybe it's a fear of rejection. Maybe it's a fear that you're not good enough. Hold it in your mind for a moment. Now, imagine walking straight into it. Not running, not hiding, not making excuses. Imagine confronting it head on. The first step will be uncomfortable. The second step will test your resolve. But the third step, that's where fear begins to shrink. That's where you start realizing that you are bigger than your doubts, stronger than your hesitation, and braver than the voice telling you to quit. The world doesn't reward people who play it safe. It doesn't hand success to the cautious, the timid, or the hesitant. It favors those who are willing to feel the fear, endure the discomfort, and push forward anyway. And here's the beautiful part. The more you face fear, the less intimidating it becomes. Each time you walk through it, it loses a little bit of its power. until one day fear is no longer a wall in front of you, it's just a memory. You also have to understand that fear is not meant to stop you. It's meant to teach you. It's meant to show you what matters most, what you need to protect, what you've been avoiding. When you feel the tightness in your chest, the sweat on your palms, the racing thoughts, don't retreat. Lean in, study it, understand why it's there, and then move forward anyway. That's how you grow. That's how you evolve. That's how you break through the ceiling that's been holding you back. I want you to leave here today with this in mind. Fear is temporary. Growth is permanent. The fear you feel right now, that hesitation that's been gripping you, it won't last forever. If you act, the first step will be the hardest. The second step will test you. But the third, fourth, and fifth steps, that's where life begins to open up in ways you didn't think were possible. Step by step, you walk through fear, and the moment you do, you'll never see it the same way again. So stop letting fear dictate your life. Stop letting it control your choices. Look it in the eye, take a deep breath, and move forward, because the only way to the next level is through it. Listen, too many people get caught in a cycle. They keep doing the same things over and over, expecting different results. That's the definition of frustration. That's the definition of regret. But here's the truth you need to hear. Success is not about talent. Success is not about being the smartest person in the room, the fastest, or the strongest. Talent alone will get you only so far. What separates those who rise from those who stay stuck is the refusal to repeat the same mistakes, the courage to change the patterns that are holding you back, and the discipline to build new habits that propel you forward. Think about your life for a moment. How many times have you found yourself in the same situation, facing the same challenges, making the same decisions, and wondering why nothing ever changes? Maybe it's a relationship that keeps breaking down, a career that never takes off, or a dream you've been chasing for years without progress. And yet, somehow, you fall back into the same behaviors, the same excuses, the same routines. You keep thinking that this time will be different, that luck will finally show up, that the stars will align. But luck and alignment will never come if you don't break the pattern. Breaking the pattern starts with awareness. You have to see the habits, the choices, the thought processes that are keeping you in place. It takes courage to look at yourself honestly, to admit that you've been part of the problem, not just the victim of circumstances. And once you see it, you have to take responsibility. You have to own it, because you cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. Here's the hard part. Breaking the pattern isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. Old habits cling to you like shadows. They whisper, just one more time won't hurt. Or this is who you are, you'll never change. And every time you listen, you give up a little of your future. But every time you resist, every time you choose differently, every time you act with intention instead of instinct, you chip away at the chains that have been holding you back. That's how real change happens. One conscious decision at a time, one choice after another, until the pattern no longer has power over you. You've got to understand that changing your habits is not about drastic overnight transformation. It's about small, consistent actions that build momentum. It's about showing up for yourself every day, even when it's hard, even when you feel like giving up. Maybe it's committing to learning something new every day. Maybe it's letting go of toxic people, toxic thoughts, or toxic excuses. Maybe it's building discipline in the little things, waking up early, sticking to your word, honoring your commitments, because the small habits, repeated consistently, compound into extraordinary results. And that is how you change your destiny. Success isn't handed to the talented. It's earned by the relentless. It's earned by the person who refuses to let failure define them, who refuses to make the same mistake twice, who refuses to accept mediocrity as a way of life. Talent will open a door. Discipline will keep you in the room. Awareness will guide you to the right door. and the courage to break the pattern will carry you through it. Look, we all have moments where we stumble. We all make choices we regret. We all fall into old patterns even when we know better. But the difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck is simple. The ones who rise recognize the cycle and refuse to repeat it. They take the lessons, not the failures, and they move forward smarter, stronger, and more determined. They do not allow the weight of yesterday to crush the potential of today. They act differently, consistently, until the pattern that held them back is gone, and a new pattern, the pattern of progress, growth, and success is firmly in place. And let me tell you, breaking the pattern is liberating. There's a freedom that comes from refusing to be defined by your past mistakes. There's a joy that comes from knowing that your future is in your hands, that your destiny is being shaped by your choices, not by your history. That's where real power lies. That's where the life you've always imagined becomes possible. So stop waiting for talent alone to carry you. Stop hoping for luck or external validation to change your life. Look in the mirror, recognize the patterns that have held you down, and commit right now to break them. Build new habits, take deliberate actions, and refuse to repeat the past. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you deserve is the patterns you've allowed to control you. And the moment you decide to break them, your destiny begins to shift. You've got to trust yourself. I mean really trust yourself. Not in a way that's arrogant or reckless, but in a way that's rooted in knowing who you are and what you're capable of. Too many people spend their lives doubting themselves, second, guessing every move, waiting for someone else to validate their choices. They ask themselves, am I good enough? Will I succeed? Should I do this? And all that doubt doesn't protect you. It paralyzes you. It keeps you small. It keeps your dreams waiting in line while everyone else moves forward. But here's the truth. You already have everything inside you to succeed. Every answer you're looking for is already there. You just have to believe it, trust it, and act on it. When I say trust yourself, I'm talking about a deep, unwavering conviction in your own judgment. Life will throw challenges at you. People will doubt you. Circumstances will try to shake your confidence. But if you let that doubt take root, if you allow every outside opinion to dictate your decisions, you will never move forward. You will never reach your potential. You will never know the life you're capable of living. The moment you learn to trust yourself is the moment you begin to step into the power that's been inside you all along. Think about the times you hesitated. Maybe it was a decision at work, a leap toward a dream, or simply speaking your truth. Maybe you listened to that voice in your head that said, wait, maybe this isn't right. Maybe you'll fail. And so you paused. And by pausing, you delayed your own growth. But here's the thing, that voice doesn't know the whole story. You do. You know your strengths, your resilience, your intuition, your heart. You know what you can handle, what you're willing to fight for, and what's worth pursuing. That's why trusting yourself is so crucial. The world can't make your decisions for you, and neither can anyone else. Only you can navigate the path meant for you. Trusting yourself also means owning your mistakes. It's not blind faith. It's not thinking you'll never stumble. You will make wrong turns. You will face setbacks. That's life. But here's the difference. When you trust yourself, mistakes aren't failures. They're lessons. They're guideposts that tell you how to adjust, how to grow, and how to keep moving forward. You stop fearing the misstep and start valuing the journey. You stop doubting your decisions and start learning from them. And the more you trust yourself, the more confident your choices become. Let's be real, no one else will ever have the same connection to your dreams that you do. No one else feels the fire in your heart, the pull of your purpose, the urgency of your potential. If you rely on other people's approval, you'll spend your life chasing someone else's vision, not your own. That's why trusting yourself is critical. When you listen to your inner voice, honor your intuition, and act on your convictions, you align with your true path. You stop living in fear of judgment, and you start living in alignment with your purpose. Now, trusting yourself is a muscle. You have to build it. It doesn't happen overnight. Every time you make a decision and follow through, every time you take a step despite uncertainty, every time you honor your instincts, that muscle gets stronger. You begin to recognize your own wisdom. You begin to respect your own judgment, and you begin to move through life with confidence that no obstacle can shake. That's when you stop hesitating. That's when you stop holding back. That's when you start creating the life you were meant to live. And here's something important. Trusting yourself also requires silence. It requires turning down the noise, the doubts, the fears, the opinions of others that aren't meant to guide you. You've got to be willing to listen to your own voice above all else. You've got to tune in to the part of you that already knows the answer. That's where clarity lives. That's where power lives. That's where your future begins to take shape. So today, I want you to make a choice. Stop doubting your decisions. Stop letting fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown hold you back. Trust yourself. Commit to your instincts. Follow your convictions. Step boldly in the direction of your goals, even if the path isn't perfectly clear. Because the truth is, the more you trust yourself, the more the world will align with your vision, and the more you trust yourself, the more unstoppable you become. You have what it takes. You always have. All that's left is for you to trust it. You've got to understand something about life. Motivation is fleeting. It comes in waves. One day you wake up feeling unstoppable, full of energy and drive. You're ready to conquer the world. But the next day, that fire fades. You wake up tired, uncertain, questioning yourself, wondering if you have what it takes. That's human. Motivation is not a permanent state. It's a spark, not the engine. And if you rely solely on how you feel in the moment, you'll never get anywhere. That's why consistency matters, discipline matters, commitment matters. Because when the fire fades, and it always will, consistent action is what carries you forward. Think about it. Every successful person you know, every great leader, every high achiever, it's not because they were always motivated. They didn't wake up every morning feeling 100% inspired. What separated them was their commitment to show up anyway. To take the steps day in and day out, even when it was hard, even when it was inconvenient, even when they didn't feel like it. That's the difference between those who talk about dreams and those who actually live them. The dream itself is not enough. The execution is everything. And execution comes from consistent, disciplined action, not fleeting motivation. Consistency is a reflection of character. It's a reflection of what you truly value, because what you do repeatedly reveals what you believe matters. You can say all the right words, read all the right books, watch all the motivational videos you want. But if you don't act consistently, if you don't take the necessary steps over and over again, your goals will remain distant fantasies. You've got to show up for yourself day after day, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels like no one is watching, even when you're tired or unsure. That's when progress happens. That's when momentum builds. That's when you begin to realize that your potential is not defined by bursts of inspiration, but by steady, relentless action. And let's be honest, consistency is not glamorous. Nobody will post about the quiet hours you spent practicing, learning, grinding, or improving. Nobody will see the repetitive small steps that lead to big results. But those small steps compound, they add up. Every time you commit to showing up, even when it hurts, even when you doubt yourself, you're investing in your future. You're building a foundation that no temporary setback can shake. And over time, those consistent actions create a life that feels unstoppable, a momentum that cannot be reversed, a reality that matches the vision you once only dreamed of. You also have to recognize that consistency requires patience. Results are rarely immediate. Change doesn't happen overnight. But if you stay disciplined, if you keep putting in the work, if you honor your commitments to yourself, results will come. They always do. It's the law of action. It's the law of effort. You cannot outsmart time. You cannot skip the process. But you can trust that steady, consistent action will yield extraordinary outcomes. That's why consistency is more powerful than motivation. Motivation ignites you, consistency carries you, motivation lights the match, consistency keeps the flame burning. Another thing I want you to understand is this: consistency builds trust. Not just trust with others, but trust with yourself. When you show up every day for your goals, when you follow through on your commitments, when you refuse to quit, you start believing in your own word. You start believing in your own ability to handle life. That trust becomes a foundation for confidence. That trust becomes a shield against doubt and fear. And that trust will push you forward when motivation runs dry, when obstacles appear, and when challenges feel too heavy. Consistency is also about resilience. It's about showing up even after failure, even after disappointment, because setbacks are guaranteed. Life will knock you down, people will doubt you, things will go wrong. But when you are committed to consistency, each setback becomes temporary. Each failure becomes a lesson. Each obstacle becomes an opportunity to reaffirm your commitment to keep moving forward. That's where the real growth happens, not in the moments of excitement, but in the moments when you push yourself to act even when it's difficult, even when you don't feel like it. So I want you to leave here today with this in mind. Don't wait for motivation to carry you. Don't rely on inspiration to get you moving. Commit to consistency. Commit to showing up day in and day out, regardless of how you feel. Build the discipline to act, even when the fire fades. Take those small, steady steps, and over time, you will create results that feel unstoppable, momentum that cannot be stopped, and a life that matches the vision you've always had. Your success is not in bursts of energy. It's in the grind, the commitment, the consistency. Stay disciplined, keep moving, show up. Let me tell you something. Excuses are easy. Anybody can make them. You wake up in the morning and life gives you a reason not to try. Too tired, too busy, too broke, too unprepared, and it feels comfortable to point the finger, to say, "It's not my fault. The circumstances weren't right. The past held me back." That's the easy road. That's what everyone else does. But here's the hard truth. Excuses never build anything. Excuses never move you forward. Excuses will keep you small while the world keeps passing you by. Results. That's where the real work lies. And results don't come from blame. They come from accountability, action, and a refusal to settle for anything less than your potential. Think about it. How many people have a story about why they can't do something? How many people spend their lives crafting reasons, telling themselves and everyone around them why it's not their fault that they're not where they want to be? But that story doesn't matter. It never has. What matters is what you do next. You can either stay stuck in the story of what went wrong, or you can use it. You can use the setbacks, the failures, the pain, the missed opportunities as fuel. That's how you rise. That's how you take the circumstances that were meant to hold you down and turn them into reasons to push harder, to work smarter, to chase your dreams with relentless focus. Excuses are like anchors. They keep you tethered to the past. And if you keep holding on, you will never sail forward. Every excuse you give yourself is a weight you place on your own shoulders, and the weight grows heavier the longer you carry it. But the moment you decide to stop blaming, the moment you stop pointing fingers at circumstances or the past, something incredible happens. You reclaim your power, you reclaim your choices, you reclaim your life. That's the difference between those who complain and those who conquer. That's the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Look, life will always test you. Life will always throw obstacles in your path. The difference is how you respond. You can complain about the unfairness of the world, or you can rise above it. You can say, "If only this hadn't happened, I would be further ahead." Or you can say, "This happened, but I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm going to use it as my stepping stone." Every challenge, every setback, every failure is an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more resilient. But that opportunity is wasted the moment you hide behind an excuse. You've got to own your life, your actions, and your outcome. Stop blaming the people around you. Stop blaming your circumstances. Stop blaming your past. It's all done. It's behind you. And what you have now is the present. The moment to take action, to rise up, to push forward, to claim the life you've been dreaming about. Excuses are optional. Results are mandatory if you want to live up to your potential. And the only way to get results is to act consistently, boldly, and without hesitation. Let me break it down. Results are hard. They require effort, focus, and perseverance. They require you to show up even when you don't feel like it. They require you to endure setbacks, overcome obstacles, and keep going when the world tells you to quit. Excuses are soft, they're comforting, they make you feel like you're okay, like the world owes you something, like your circumstances define your limits. But here's the truth, no one owes you anything. No one is responsible for your success except you. If you want it, you have to claim it. If you want results, you have to do the work. If you want to rise, you have to stop hiding behind the reasons why you think you can't. And the beauty of it is this: the same circumstances that people use as excuses can become the fuel that drives you forward. The hardships, the failures, the doubts, the setbacks, they can either weigh you down or lift you higher. It's your choice. You can stay in the place where the weight feels heavy, or you can use it to spring yourself into action. The same moments that could break you can also make you. The same challenges that feel like barriers can become the building blocks of your strength, your resilience, and your success. So I want you to hear me clearly. Stop giving yourself excuses. Stop looking for reasons why you can't. Stop blaming the past, the circumstances, the people, or the world. It's all in your hands. The only question is whether you'll rise above it. The only question is whether you'll take action despite the obstacle. The only question is whether you'll commit to creating results instead of hiding behind excuses. Rise, take the weight of every excuse and turn it into fuel. Take the lessons of your past and use them as stepping stone. Step boldly into the life you were meant to live. Thank you for watching. Remember, your growth, your courage, your discipline, and your results are all in your hands. If this video inspired you to take action, break old patterns, and rise above excuses, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to level up. Share this with someone who needs a reminder that they have everything inside them to succeed. Keep owning your life, facing your fears, trusting yourself, staying consistent, and turning every obstacle into fuel. Your journey to greatness starts now. Let's keep moving forward together.